here we go. There's the back. Bringing it up, that's not too bad. Okay, let's get that sound going so you can hear me. Alrighty, so what do we need to do? We need to grab this body, and we've got that body. We need to get in there and drill those holes. I've got the drill bit too. I've got black hardware. It's got Mr. Glynn's Cruel Mistress vintage telly pickups, brass saddles, bone nut. It's all good. Where the weed at? What's going on? Thank you for the follow. Good to see you. Welcome on in.
Who?
Okay, so that's that guy there. But that's to show you that copper-looking red cedar when it really gets polished up. It really looks copperish.
Come here, little guy. Come here, my little boy.
To go on top. So that's what we did there. That back's going to be sensational. That is so smooth. Very, very smooth. Ha! Absolutely. They are drums. They're percussion instruments as well as stringed instruments. They can be used. If you watch the old flamenco guys playing, the old Spanish guys, they're doing all that stuff. They're going tippa-tappa, tippa-tippa-dum, ring, 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 tippa-tappa, tippa-tappa, dum, ding, dong, dang. So it's all good. How's that? How's that? Is that better? Tom, are we back from the sound of silence? I don't know why it does that. It just turns itself off sometimes. My mic's actually on. Yes, okay. Sorry about that. What I was saying was this is now officially called the Aurora model. The L6 Aurora. It is a nice action. It's quite low. It's not too high, not too low. It's pretty good. What we want to do, though, is change the nut because that's a floating nut. This is a wide neck, quite a wideish neck. You can see the overhang there because of the binding mainly. I didn't trim the neck down too much, and the binding is very fine, but it does give it a little bit more width. So we have to get the right nut in there, and I'm waiting for blanks to arrive. And welcome on in, everybody who missed the intro. I just said hello and welcome, and the usual suspects are here. Tom is here, and Terry's here, and Mav is here, and everyone can hear everyone. And Dana's here as well, and it's good to see. Official name, Terry. Thank you very much to you guys. Thanks to you guys, it's the official name, the Aurora. And the Aurora, I think, is a great name for a guitar model. Today we're going to be waiting for my nuts to arrive. But whilst my nuts are arriving, we are going to work on a neck for this guy, the Acoustic. We're going to go back to the Acoustic build, that guy hanging up there. And we've got some beautiful blackwood here that we want to use as the main part of the neck. You can see the sweeping grain, a couple of little knot holes there. We won't see those. It's a beautiful, flamey, sweeping, ribbony grain. And we've got another matching piece here, a shorter piece, with similar flamey grain that we're going to use for the block ends, for the neck block, and also for the headstock. And I've got new templates for this guy, so we're going to use those. You can see this is quarter sawn. For those that don't know what quarter sawn is like, you can see the grain runs a vertical way, up and down on the end grain, as opposed to the rings being that way, horizontal across that plane. These are vertical, and that means that under tension, it won't bend much because it's compressing along a vertical plane rather than bending. This way it would bend, but we're not using that way, we're using that way, which means it won't do much of that if it's like that. So it's more stable. Beautiful sides. I've got sides like this too, Tom. I have got sides like this. These sides are actually exactly the same as pretty much these sides here. Same wood. This is a little bit of a different cut, obviously. Not as flamey, not as figured as that. More ribbon grain, more mahogany-ish. But yes, beautiful sides as well. I've got some mahogany and some more of this stuff coming in an acoustic side at about 1/8 of an inch. So they will make a beautiful acoustic guitar. Okay, so we've got these two guys we've got to chop and change. Dana's in the house. Willie Won't Go is in the house as well. Willie Won't Go, thank you for the resub, Lisa. You are amazing, as always. The amazing Lisa. That's why we call her the amazing Lisa. Nothing to do with magic tricks or disappearing, although she does disappear every now and then, but not as much as Van Walen, who disappears in trees and under snow mounds and things like that. All right, now I have no nuts, so we can't do anything with the nuts. We have to work on the neck. So I will move this guy away and I will get onto the neck build. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there's another announcement I need to make, and that is my website is just around the corner from being ready. I have been working on that offline. I like neck builds. Terry, you like neck builds like I like fretwork. So we've got our website just about ready to be published, and it's going to have all our models on there, including the Aurora. You can't get to it yet; it's not published, but I will give you a link very, very shortly, probably in the next stream. Now, what I need you to do, if you haven't already gone to our Instagram page, Terry, hit us with the Instagram link. There's a little reminder there of our new upcoming web page. So, and if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please like and subscribe. It helps to get our numbers up, and that helps keep the channel awake and alert and enabled for all intents and purposes. I like necks and bending sides for acoustics. Willie, bending necks and bending sides. And bending strings. That's what Tom likes doing. Bending strings. Insta. Have we got the link that works? It does work. So give us a follow there. Give us a follow on YouTube as well. Do we have a YouTube link, Terry? Do we have a YouTube link? Anyway, I'm going to go and get some neck things out. Let's get our neck things out. Oh, looky here, everybody. We have this beautiful new 25.5 inch neck template. So 25.5 inch scale length, It's a wonderful template from guitartemplates.com.au, an Aussie company that laser cuts really, really nice wooden and acrylic, plastic or acrylic plexiglass, as you guys call it, templates. They're very well marked. They're etched with things like the 12th fret, the 14th fret body crossover, the angle of the tilt of the neck, the thickness of a laminate, the 15-degree pitch, everything, and of course the 0 fret where the nut should go. So everything is marked and laser cut on this guy. You can see the laser engraving on that with all the necessary lines and markings. Very important. Makes my life easy. Makes my life heck easy. Here's our scale length. So if we check this for scale length, 12th fret, look at that, right on. And there's our 0 fret right there. It's perfect. So not only is this perfect, but we've actually cut this correctly, which is a big bonus, don't you think? Put a space after the URL. Oh, okay, sure. The space after the URL, yeah, maybe. We'll see. I'll just catch up with that chat and see what that says. At. Yeah, I don't think the at needs to be there. I think just youtube.com/theguitarshowoz. So take the at away, I think. Unlike, yeah, you can see where Instagram doesn't have the at. You only use the at when you're referring to someone in a chat window, so that the at actually links them to the web page or that user page while you're in that web domain. Look, see, I didn't forget all of my IT things. I remember some things, which is very surprising that I can remember anything sometimes. All right, are we going to get started with this? We are. Let's get some basic measurements done for starters. So I want to get lengths and scale lengths and all sorts of things happening here. That's the bottom of the neck. That's the dress side. There's some knots here that will be covered up when we do our scarf joint / thickening of the headstock end. But this guy basically goes and lies in like that. We're going to make some basic markings on here so that we can find out how much spare we have. And what we can then do is cut this up to use as heels for this thickness here. We've got to build this up to another 3 inches or so. And then we'll have enough for the thickness of that neck. I'll just test the thickness of this on the guitar body itself. And there's a little bit at the bottom left, about ½ an inch at the bottom, where we can use to put in what I call a little heel on the end of that, like a shoe heel on the heel, a little bit of ebony or another accent piece on the end of that to bring it up to almost flush with the back. Some people have them overhanging the back by about 1/8 of an inch. Some people have them flush with the back, and some people have them under the back. That camera is playing games. Let me fix that up. What is that camera doing? Let me sort that out. Should be working okay. Let me just double check that. There we go. It's sorted back out. Dano, what's going on? Good to see you. Gopher's in the house. What's on the bench today? Goph, how you doing, Alexander? Good to see you. This is Tassie Blackwood. This is a new template for a 25.5 inch acoustic neck. This is a rosewood neck with ebony, and my camera's going bonkers again. I'm just going to move that and plug it in somewhere else. It's giving me the irrits, as they say. Excuse me for a second while I unplug this bugger, set it up again, and we'll try that again. Let me reset that. It was losing its crap. There we go. Back to normal. Hopefully that holds out. There is a problem with a cable in here somewhere, so bear with me. Okay. Leslie's in the house. Leslie, how are you? Good to see you. Show us your dancing gophers. There he is, Gopher. If anyone hasn't checked out Gopher, check him out. He's a good boy. So his mum thinks. Anyway. All right, here we are. Let's measure this guy out and just get some basics on here. So I'm going to give it a little bit of an extra length on the end there, about 1/4 of an inch. We've got plenty of wood, plenty of stuff to use. This side is going to match. I'm going to match the grain with this side down this end to thicken this neck up, get that 15-degree angle going. I'm not going to cut a scarf joint. I'm actually going to glue and join them together. Scarf joints are A, they add a lot of time. B, they don't really do anything for me because I'm not going to have a flat transition here. I'm going to actually put a volute in its place. So first things first is I need to mark out where certain things are. Right, pencils here. We've got the end of our doobie whacker marked as there. We've got our 0 fret marked as there. We've got our neck starts there. We're going to put N for nut in there where that belongs. We've got our 12th fret right here, 12, and we've got our 14th right here, and we've got our tenon joint ending up about 1 inch in right there. We've got an angle on this guy, so we'll work that out later, of about 3 degrees or so. And what that allows for is for that neck to just sit slightly down below the horizontal, like so. It just does that because the front of the guitar is a lot thinner, or a little bit thinner than the back. If I show you that from side on, if we pretend that's the guitar, like so, I'll show you the front end, and the neck goes in like that. If we leave it flat, what's going to happen is the strings are going to be a lot higher up here because this end is 5 inches thick and this end is about 4 1/4. So what we want to do is we want to drop that ever so slightly by about 3 degrees like that. So that will, we're dipping that so it drops like that. I'm exaggerating that drop. Once it drops like that in that slot and sits like that, that slight angle upwards, that slight uphill is going to be accommodated for, and that fretboard is going to sit nicely on there and not pull and get that neck out of alignment. It needs to fit the same angle as this pitch, as this gradient here. And that's what we're going to do. Lastly, once the top is on, we can calculate that and finesse that edge to fit in there at that angle. But for now, what we need to do is hang this guy up and cut out that guy. Any questions, chuck them in the chat. If I don't see you now, I will answer them later when I review the video. Gatto's in the house. Gatto, what is going on, brother? Good to see you as well. Welcome on in. Okay, it had the @ Okay. If I click on that link now, let's see what it does. I'm going to click on that link and see what it does. It takes me to the channel. Okay, that works. So leave it there, Dana. Leave the @ in there. It seems to work. Is there still a problem? I don't know. Who's the problem? I don't know. So let's get our square out, mark this out. We know where the end of this is. We know where the beginning of it is. There's the 14th. There's the end right there. That's the end of the board. So let's get our markings out correct so we know where to work and what to work with. End of the neck. Tenon, which is where the 14th fret cuts over the body, is the start of the tenon. 12th fret is right here, just for reference to line up things, for scale, like so. 0 fret is right here. And the gap for the nut is right here. Which means the headstock goes away, starts here, and on the other side, which means all this is spare wood, which we're going to use to make this guy thick enough to cut a 15-degree angle. You can see how much we need by lining this guy up here, like so, and seeing that we need another. This is an inch or so, not quite an inch, it's 20, I think it's 20, oh yeah, it's an inch. Oh, hang on, it's not an inch. It's about 3/4 of an inch. We need another 1.5 inches, so another 2 of those pieces there glued together, and that's what we'll get out of this. So, as you can see, we need 2 pieces about yay long. So what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start by cutting this off now on the bandsaw. Which means I can go to the next room and I can show you the new camera. Hey Bumstead, Marky Mark, thank you very much for the resub. How are you, my friend? Welcome on in. Willie won't go with the resub. Dana with a resub earlier on. And now Mark again with his 30 months. Congratulations, that's a long time. So Mark, we're working on the neck for this acoustic build again. The other neck I made, there was an issue with the wood. I didn't really like some of the way it behaved after it was glued up and cut. So we're going to use this grain, which is really, really nicely quarter sawn, and I like the grain finish on this as well. It's a little bit more linear, not as scalloped or figured. There were some problems with the structure because of the figuring. So I've gone for a more linear grain, a little more radial, lots of lines. It's Australian blackwood as well. It's beautiful. That's the face, the dress side, which we'll see under the carve. We're just cutting out this 25.5-inch scale neck. We've marked out the important parts of the neck so we know where to cut truss rods and things. And we're going to do that in a minute. But what we need to do is firstly cut this guy out completely. So I'm going to cut just a little bit further down, about 1/4 inch. I'm going to draw a dotted line just to have a little bit more tenon, and then I'll cut that to size when the time comes to fit the neck properly. I'm going to give it a little overhang of about 1/4 inch for now. Before I glue the fretboard on this thing, I will have that trimmed down to its proper edge. So that is the end of the board there and there. The end of the neck, I should say. I've got to cut this guy off now, right here. So to do that, I need to go into the other room. Let me flick cameras and see what we got. Ba-doing! It doesn't tell me, does it? What drill mic have we got? We've got the, what have we got there? Sorry guys, I've just, found is the USB camera audio. USB audio device, USB 2 camera. I think it's that one. Let's see if that works. Does that work? Can you hear me? Yes, you can. But okay, good. Let's go. Right, let's make some room here. I'm about to put this magnificent thing that Karen Day made for me up on my door. I've got a nice little mount for it, finally, because I've rearranged the room in here. And we're good to go. Put this away. make sure that you guys can see me and hear me. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Yes, you can. Give me a 1 to make sure that that's working. Can you please give me a 1 or a yes? You can actually see me and you can hear me. It's a 1. Good. Okay. So we're going to cut this guy up. We're just going to cut that right along here. Move this guy off the table. I'll take that fence right out because it's not wide enough. You don't need that. Pop that down there for the time being. We just want to cut this guy. Wow, it's not even going to take that. The bed's a little bit short. I've got the wrong side. Have I got the wrong side? No, that's the right side. I might have to do it in 2 pieces here, so I'm going to have to cut as close. Oh, here we go. No, that works. Okay, that's good. That works. I'm going to cut it right down there. Just going to lower this down a little bit so we don't get any real waver. Tighten that up. That's not plugged in. I need to plug it in for some reason. I think they need power these days. Terry, does the saw need power? Terry? Okay. Power, yes. There's our 2 pieces. That's going to be 2 pieces soon. What I need to do is measure the angle on this guy here and see where they cross over. That's why these markings are important, because we can see what the heck we're doing. Isn't that right, Terry? Crosses over about there. I'm going to measure this guy. It's about 5 inches, I'd say. 4.5, okay. So I'd say about 4.5 is covering that. So we need a 4.5 inch length. That's the dress side. I'll use the bad side there. 4.5 inch length to go there. Double check that. So I need that much. And then this piece here can go here to make up the difference. And actually I need a volute in there, so I'm going to just cut this a little bit shorter. I only need 3.5 inches. So I'm going to take 3.5 inches from the back. Oh yeah, that's more than enough. Perfect. There's enough room for a volute there. No, I need more. How much do I actually need? Not that much at all. I only need oh yeah, that's all I need. Plenty. Okay, cool. So let's go cut this piece. We cut that piece. Lin Lin, what's happening? Aloha. How you going? Good to see you. Into the drill room. Cut another piece of the action. Get some satisfaction. And I'm going to glue these guys eventually, like so. One like that. Get the colour matched. There we are. So the grain is all working together. That's perfect. That's going to go down into there. That's excellent. That's going to give us our headstock thickness. Move that camera. So that's what we're going to have. We're going to glue that guy there. And that means that neck as you can see, is going to fit on there. No need to worry about that. Now we have to worry about this end and get a tail block in here. So what I want to do is I want to leave the overhang, and we want to cut up some pieces from this scrap piece here. Another beautiful flame. This has got a bit more flame in it, and it's got some nice radial lines too. I will keep this dress side for the bottom. It doesn't really matter. You're not going to see that anyway. We're going to cut some segments here. They're going to be this thick till about here. So about 4 inches or so. I'm going to measure out. Firstly, I'm going to measure a little bit of overhang. The neck overhang that we have is about 1/4 inch, I think. No, sorry. Yes, 1/4 inch. So I'm going to give it 1/4 inch overhang. Or 6 millimeters, as we call it. And now we can work from that straight edge backwards. And we want to get roughly, and I say roughly, because I want to allow enough to cut out a very easy transition. We don't want to go here and leave a bodgy transition. We want to cut it to at least here. I might go 4.5 inches. That's plenty of space to cut away a nice cutaway angle and cutaway section. So 4.5 inch blocks is what we want. Let's take them to 4.5. Do the first one. And the next one. I'll draw the lines as we go. going to need at least 3 of these blocks. Does it make sense, Terry, what I'm doing here? Are you confused or are you with it? Are you following? That is the question I have. 3 4-inch blocks. They're 1 3/4 inches each. And we need 1 3/4 plus 1 3/4 is 2.5, 3.5. Plus 1 3/4 is 5, 6, 6? What am I talking about? 1 3/4 plus 1 3/4 is 3.5. 3 plus 1 is 4. 3/4 plus 1/4 is 5 inches. And that's perfect. That's the thickness at the front of the guitar. So we need 5 inches, which is literally going to be here. 3 of those is enough. Now I need to cut these 3. So let's go back to the other room. I'm following. Good. I'm glad. I didn't think you would miss out because you're a cluey little so-and-so. But I just wanted to make sure. Okay, let's go. Okay, here we are. And here are these 3 pieces here, which should provide our enough meat when glued at the back end, like so, to cut a nice heel. Okay, a neck. This is the neck end of the business. Now, of course, you can see there's an overhang there. I didn't cut these as long as this one. I didn't need to cut them as this one because I can bring this back, and I'll show you why. Because the way we're cutting this angle here, I'll grab a clamp, clamp these together just to show you what this is going to look like. So assume them glued together, and you can see the transition for this guy. Is well and truly in there. That's all going to go away. The reason we've allowed some meat in there is when we do cut that away, we're going to shape that guy so it's rounded out this end. So we leave as much meat on there as we can, and then we use the files and get in there and transition that section. This is just roughly now to get a good view. So essentially what we're doing is, and we will glue this up in a moment, is this is what we've got so far. There you have it. And it'll all make sense once I clamp this together, because Terry says more clamps are needed. Orby! What is happening? The Orbmeister. What is going on, brother? Is he here? Is the Orby here? He is indeed. So, you'll be able to see Sir Greg indeed. Good to see you. Mario, in the house. How's Luigi? So there's the shape of our neck. Okay. This end is the heel. This end is the headstock. We're going to glue those up after we put a truss rod through the middle of that guy. There's our template, and you can see that template fits nicely in there. We lay that template over the top. You can see every part of that guitar fits. Okay. There's a lot of cutaway, a lot of waste, but that's okay. That's okay. We can't use this wood for anything else. It's designed to make a neck. So making a neck there's going to be some waste. But before we carve all that away, I'm going to get the little table over there out, and we're going to do a route. Bob Ross, what's going on? What kind of happy tree are you making this out of? This happy tree is Australian or Tasmanian, to be specific, blackwood. Tasmanian blackwood. This is the body for that guy. Welcome on in, by the way, Bob. So we've got Tasmanian blackwood back and sides. I'll give you a little look at that on this camera here with some colour, because we always like to look at the colour of these things. Terry gets excited when we're doing colouring. She likes to see the colours of these things. Don't you, Terry? You do indeed. She gets rather animated. Starts writing a billion commands, banning people, changing the colour scheme of the screen. I love colour. Colour's your thing. You're the colour lady. I call you the colour lady. She's the colour lady of the Northern Hemisphere. If I put some of this guy on there, you'll see what it does to that finish. You can see the figuring there. It's quite pretty. It's quite beautiful. Okay, so that shows you what that finish is going to look like with some oil on there. The sides are matching as well. So that's it. And there's a bunya pine top for that guy. You can see how porous that is. It actually drinks it. Drinks it right through. Let's remind everyone of that of the colour. The top is bunya pine. Here is the top. Bunya pine. Going to go like that. Bunya pine, mother of pearl or abalone ringlets with rosewood. We're going to have rosewood binding on this with abalone shell around there as well. Quite fancy. Freelance prints. Freelancer prints. What is going on? So that's the guy there that's going to sit in there like so. Okay. We're almost there. We're not quite ready yet. We need to get this neck underway, so let's do that now. Terry, are you aware? Are you alert, Terry? Be on alert, Terry. You need to be on alert right now, Terry. There's stuff going on the interwebs. So be alert. Let me grab. I am. Good girl. Always alert. It's on her business card. Terry Buggerlugs. Position, alert. And she's a good alert too. Going to get my old trusty bench opened up eventually. My back's a bit out, so forgive me if I take a little bit of time. I don't want to hurt myself again. There we go. All right. So we won't need that. Move this camera around a little bit. So you can see why working down there. There we go. All right. Terry alert, Terry alert. Bah, 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 bah. Bob brings happiness. Bobby does indeed. Now we're going to use this side here. And what we're going to do is we're going to put this away. Unclamp this guy. We've got our Cuisinart rods there. Grab this guy here. We're going to mark out where we want this truss rod. We're going to go down this way. So I'm going to essentially route to about
Mom, somebody just followed me.
And you go 30 millimeters past the point of no return. To there. We need a center line on this thing. Let's get a center line down here. That is 4¼ inches or 106 millimeters, which is, sorry, yes, 106, which is what? 53? Close enough. Indeedy. Spot on a mundi. 53. Get the big straight edge. This guy, rule that line down the middle, so we get a guide on where to cut that slot. Doesn't look right. Does it look right? It does look right. There we go. Just check the ends. Sometimes the wood isn't square, although this one's dressed, so it should be. It is. This one is, but you got to make sure you do it at both ends to make sure that that line is true to the edge rather than true to what you think the edge is. 53. And I always check the thickness and make sure it is the same at each end. Sometimes you get a little bit of waver and it might drop off by 2 or 3 millimeters, and you don't want that because then your line ends up like that, skewed. You don't want a skew line based on the off centers, you know. You want to make sure it's true to center. Now, most of this is getting cut out, at least an inch on each side is getting cut away. So in the end, the line's going to be down the middle anyway, but we need to work because that angle of that neck is tapered. We need to make sure we get it right from the start. So let's line these buggers up. Right that, like so, like there, like him. And we can put a big fat line through there. And that's where our router's going to run our truss rod channel. Like that. Okay, there's our center line, and we're going to run the truss rod, which is about yay long. Let's work that out. There it is. There's our truss rod. It's going to sit well and truly inside this neck, and it's going to stick out here somewhere. But what we're going to do is we're going to about there. Mark the end of that. Mark the start of that. Sometimes I put the truss rods out the back like so, and that part is accessed from the inside. This one is going to get the access cavity for the truss rod, traditionally like an electric guitar, and that is from the headstock. That's how the owner wants it, and that's fine by me. Okay, so that's what we got to do. Now we get this guy up here. We line it up. We clamp it down. We've got a straight edge to work against. Clamps, Terry. How many clamps do we need, Terry? All of them. And thank you for the follow, Bob Ross 1. Welcome to the family. We're a quirky bunch of ferals. You will love our channel, and especially all the funny guys and girls that make it such a fun place to be. So welcome on in. Glad to have you. I'm just going to sit this guy like so, spread across there for a bit of stability. We're going to use the true edge here to run our router against, so the fence. So we're going to be okay. What I need to do is make sure I've marked where this is going. So I'm going to put a little line here to tell me when to stop. And when to stop up here. Where to stop up here, I should say. Okay. Truss rod. Truss rod. Rightio. Time to get the equipment out, so to speak. I might go the full length because the router doesn't need to go all the way to the end, and I'll be able to clamp it a little bit better. It's going to get in the way there, isn't it? I'm just going to clamp the corner up here. One more clamp, Terry, just for good measure. That ain't going anywhere. Let me grab my router, said he. Where is that thing? Okay, router. Here it is. I'm using a 1/4 inch bit. I'm using the fence. Don't take offense to that, Terry. Terry, remind me to buy another 1/4 inch router bit. She'll do that. Terry will do that. She's like that. Let's pop this guy in. Too many clamps position doesn't exist. That's right. tighten this 1/4 inch guy. Is he a 1/4 inch though, or am I playing with something that's a little bit bigger? No, it's a 1/4 inch. Wonderful. Perfect. Should fit nicely. My eyes are playing tricks on me. That's because it's not 1/4 inch. This is bigger than a 1/4 inch. Oh, it's way bigger. It's the wrong bit. Good thing I checked, Terry. What's wrong with my eyes, Terry? Can you tell me? Am I just getting old? I have to find the 1/4 inch bit. Please tell me I haven't lost it. It's okay, I can get another one. It's here somewhere. I know that to be true. Or I didn't put it away last time. Now that would be something. Would I do that, Terry? Would I forget or lose something like this? Is that like me? Bugger. I thought I had it in here, and now oh, hang on. No, that's not it. Aha! I found you, you rascally rabbit. I think this is it. I need to use my Maggie lamp and read what's on it. Sorry guys, I just need to check this. It says it doesn't say anything. Okay. Measure time. Let's grab the calipers and measure this thing out. Should be 3 millimeters, and that means it's 1/4 inch. By the time it cuts. That's not right. 1.6, that's not right. Yep, 5 mil. Sure, let me check this one. This might be the 6. Sorry guys, I've just got to check this and make sure it's right. It's not 1/4 inch, it's a little bit smaller. So I need to keep looking. Terry, I need to keep looking. It's not in there. Not in there. Not in there. I'm in trouble, Terry. I've lost my my thingamy-bob, my whatsy-doobit. Or have I? No, I found it. I knew it was in there. Okay, I've got it. We can continue now. Measure twice, cut once. That's a good lesson learnt Many a time I've learned that lesson. Let me tell you, this is the 1/4 inch. This is the one we need. So let's get back to where we were. Doofus mode. Remove doofus mode. Back to normal mode. Correct, Terry. I put it away. That's why I couldn't find it. Little tiny 3/8, little tiny 1/8 of an inch initial cut. Let's get this on. I need to line up the center first. Make sure I'm centered correctly. So I just need to barely poke the edge of that out. Put this guy in. It should be adjusted from last time, but I always give it a check because they do move around. I've been throwing this thing around the room like it's a basketball up against the wall. So, to relieve frustration probably, but anyway, we won't go there. What I need to do is check and make sure this is lined up. So the way I do that is simple. We get down here, we line up the edges of the blade with the middle, and we can see that's miles out. So what I do is loosen this cannon here, push that guy in until the marks here are lined up with the center line, like so. That's spot on a mundi. Hold that in place. Whoops, it does slip around. I've got to be very careful. Tighten that up. Nice and tight. And we check the line, and that looks okay. And what we do is we mark it. We score it from one end to the other, like so. It's a bit too much. It's biting too much. Very, very, very fine amount of blade showing. Enough to just race that over the top like that, and that will scratch our center line if it's actually accurate. It is accurate. It's right on that line. So we can actually cut that channel. Let's do that, shall we? Are you ready, Terry? We're going to cut a channel, Terry. Terry, we're cutting a channel. Everything's tight. Now, do we need safety gear? Yes. We need gloves and things, and masks and things and stuff. I'm not going to wear that. I'm going to wear this, my Darth Vader mask. Dana, we need a new icon. Okay, that goes in. Itchy eye. Dana's been preoccupied. I know, I'm just kidding. Okay. Power. that too loud? Give me a yes or a no. I won't mute you out. Sometimes it's good to listen to the noise. Okay, let's go. I will mute that out. It's a bit squeaky. Adjust the dip. Get another pass. And this should be the final pass. Okay, let's see how that fits. Let's see how that fits. Let's brush that dust out. Still got to dig down this end here. I just want to get a basic fit of that rod to see the depth. Oh, that looks good. That's good at this end. So we just need to cut this little guy here. And the way we cut this guy is we mark out the little thickness of that nut in there, and we freehand just around it. So grab a pencil, wherever that is. I'm just going to mark just either side of that guy. About a 1/16 of an inch on either side, just to get it to fit properly. There's a bulky nut at the end of that. And we just need to cut that freehand down in there. Just shave a little bit. We take off the rail. Now basically get down here and freehand that guy. I'll put my mask on. I teardrop shape that end just to take that. Okay, still a little narrow. I'm almost done. Almost there. So I'm going to use a chisel now, and I'm just going to shave that end ever so slightly. So I'm going to move this over here. We're finished with that tool now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move this up to the bench. Show you guys what the fit's like. So we've got this channel cut in here, as you can see, and this guy lines up nicely in there like so, but this head end is a little bit wide, so I'm going to get a chisel and just chisel out that little section in there that I've marked out, about 1 millimeter on each side, and that will make that snugly fit in there snugly, and that's that done. And then we can glue up the sides, glue up the heel and the headstock components. Grab my chisel. Get my glasses on so I can see what I'm doing. I might even use my Maggie lamp here. Ooh, that's quite big. It tends to work a little bit for me, does it? Sort of. Sort of distracts me. I'll get some light on there. I can see. Just getting that little thick bit out, like so. Shave that down. Oops. cut on one side, just widen the other side ever so slightly. Like so. Shave that guy. There we are. Now it's a little bit high here, so I need to go a bit deeper in there. It's popping up at that end because it does overlay, but that's tight in there. There's a bit of a bump there, so I need to straighten that out by digging that out with a 6mm. Because it's not meant to be tight as a drum, it's meant to be snug, but obviously movable, and that's jammed right in there now, so I'm going to get under there and flip that out. So I grab my 6mm chisel, which is a 1/4 inch, and I'm going to use my little scoopy doopy one. This guy. It's a bit wide. This guy. And what I'm going to do is just chisel out a little rebate in here, like so. And that's going to allow that to sit in there flush. Fibers out. Check the depth. Oh, yep. Just about there. A little bit more just at this end. And we're good. That came out a lot easier. Here it is here. That little bump there. Shave that down. There's that little bit out. Just do it again. Almost. About 1 millimetre up. Just cut that away a little bit more. Ever so slightly. Bump there. There we go. Flat as a tack. Wonderful. It's in there. So, what have we got? There we go. Right, there we have it. So that's in. You can see that's flat. It's in there. Truss rod's there. And what happens, of course, is the fretboard gets laid over the top of that. Like that. Okay, and we've got a little bit sticking out there. But what happens is as that gets cut away, we might, we'll then use a small truss rod cover there, probably the same material as a little bit of accent, maybe a little flame piece just to cover that. And that way we'll have access to that truss rod to adjust that neck when it's needed. But that's that guy there. Now we're ready to glue the other stuff on. And once we do that, we're pretty much ready to go. Before I do that though, what I want to do is mark out the profile of the neck so I know where the edges are. I always do that. So let's do that quickly. Okay. Get that guy out. Some fibers in here I just want to clear out.
Mom, somebody just followed me.
That's good. Excellent. That's good. That comes out reasonably easy. Right. Just going to mark the center of this guy down. Well, I've got the center of that, got the center of that. Let's mark either side of this guy. Two, 44. Just going to mark where that neck starts. Draw that headstock on there. Just to give you an idea. Okay, at this end, twelfth, 13th, 14th fret. At the 14th, we are going to be 28 millimeters at the 14th from the center line right there. 56. And now we can taper that off to give us an idea of what that neck's going to look like at the 14th. There we go. So we know what the taper is like. You can see the taper of that neck. Okay, there's the shape of that neck. So it gets wider at this end here. And so what we need to do now is glue the other components on there. So we've got our neck pieces here. Like so. Like so. That's what we need. So first things first, let's get our glue. We're going to use hide. We're going to use gorilla wood. Not hide glue because I don't intend this coming off. And also it's very humid at the moment. So I'm going to go with some of this. Your little spatula. Let's just work that in. Spread that glue. Get an even cover. More glue. Running low on this one, but that's okay. For this sort of application, it's pretty good. Feather that all the way to the edge. Okay. Sit it on there. Let it wiggle around a little bit. Squiggle it around a little bit. Until it bites. Push it down. Let it come up. Spring it around. Swing it around. That's sort of stuck now. Get this other one going. At the end there, like so. So more glue on here. Van Whalen, what is happening? You're here. My goodness, man, I haven't seen you for ages. It took you months to get down from that tree, monkey boy. What are you doing, man? Are you well? I hope you're well. Hi. Is that all you can say for yourself? Hi.
Mom, somebody just followed me.
Alrighty. Get this guy on.
Mom, somebody just followed me.
Now what do we need, Terry? What do we need now, Terry? I always have a lot to say. Huh. Giacomo, thank you for the follow. 44 Boris, thank you for the follow. Bob Ross 61 earlier on, thank you for the follow. Guys, welcome on in. I've been a little bit preoccupied getting these guys sorted out. Do we need these things, clamps, Terry? Do we need clamps, some sort of semblance of a clamp? You want a zip line? Put it in. Get one done. Tell the man. Do. You've got a job to do. Lisa wants a zip line. Get cracking. These will move slightly, so don't over tighten them. Let's get let them gripped into place, then we'll move them into place. I need another one here, Terry. I need another one here, Terry. Do I? Terry, do I need another one here? Or several? Do I need several, Terry? I need to know. What is the answer to the question? Yes, I need several. Clamp it up. That's the answer to the question, Terry says. Clamp it up, man. Lining them up as best as we can. They're pretty much edge to edge. It doesn't matter if they shift a little bit under tension because this will be cut out. You won't see those glue lines once we cut these guys out, so it's all good in the hood, as Terry says. It's all good in the hood. Tap this guy in. Like so. A little bit of a tap. Lines them up. Some alignment. It's all happening. It's all good in the hood. Mama, we're doing a good job on this. That's pretty straight-ish. Get one in here. Yeah, gotcha. Mother grabber. Ain't going anywhere. Wait, more clamps, Terry. Overcorrect it, push it back into place like so. We're looking good there. It's all lined up nicely. Yeah. Righty. We're doing a good job of it, Terry. I think we're pretty close. Pretty close is good enough here in this case. excess glue squeeze out. That's a good thing. Everything's a good thing. This is sticking out a little bit. Need a tap. Spot on a mundi. That's good. That's good. We've got squeeze out. We've got glue everywhere. That's very, very good. I think we're good at this end. One more in here, and we can start working on the back. I might get another one on the other side. There we go. That ain't going anywhere, Terry. Even if you buy a free ticket to the opera, it ain't going. Right. And now, ladies and germs, we have these three little guys for the heel. Okay, so the heel, I've got a special longer one here. And this longer one, I've got them all lined up. Like so. Like so. They're going to go right there. Like that. Okay, that's what we're going to do. So, glue. First guy. Whee, as Karen might say. Yep, that's what she'd say. Zip lines, they're fun. What I want to see is a zip line straight over Willie's pond, and then she lets go and she splashes down on Elvis and all those guys in the pond. Willie, have you got any new fish? Any names I should know? Have they had any eggs? Have they laid any babies? Have they had any babies? Baby koi? Have we still got koi in the mix? Are they still there? What's going on? We got Leroy. Leroy's awesome. That's a great name. Leroy. Is he a good fella? Or is he a pain in the butt? He'd be a good boy, I reckon. Not like Leroy Brown. Or is he named after Leroy Brown? Is he the baddest man in the whole wide town? BTM, what's going on? Oh, he died. That's no good. Don't say that. Fish are friends, not food. Isn't that what Dory said? Hey, XNC2X, which is a mouthful in itself. How you doing, man? Good to see you. Welcome on in. Love it that you're here. It's all good all the time, as we say. Righto, this goes down in here like so. Gotta get this guy down here, like so. This is a bit overbalanced and underbalanced and imbalanced, so how am I doing that? I'm going to stick this guy. I'm going to put something under this guy. Hang on a second, let me grab this. Put that guy under there. There we go, that's better. Just so I can get this guy lined up here. Okay. Next. Ooh. Just catching up with the chat, guys. That's why I'm a bit quiet, because sometimes when I read, I think out loud, and that means that I can't have words coming out of my mouth lest I say what I'm thinking. And if you all knew what I was thinking, you wouldn't want me to say it anyway. Did I say that? Am I serious? Ask Terry if I'm serious. She'll tell you. Am I ever serious, Terry?
Mom, somebody just followed me.
It goes on like so. We've got to squiggle these guys around a little bit. These are a little bit, we've got a bit more play on these guys because a lot of this is going to get cut away and carved away, so we don't have to worry too much about it. But let's get them on, and we'll worry about it later, as they say in the industry. Let's get it done, and we'll worry about it later. Isn't that right, Terry? Is that what they say? Something like that. Last piece. Leroy got lost, and Van Walen almost had to get in the pond to find him. And last second, Leroy pops out and swims into another hidey hole. What a cheeky son of a gun.
Mom, somebody just followed me.
He was just taking the mickey and wanting VW to jump in. The cold, freezing pond water. And he probably did it in winter too, the silly dork. Not VW, bloody Leroy. That's who I'm talking about. What was that? What's that famous saying, Lisa? Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Well, Leroy, congratulations. Poor old Leroy. Machine X Marcus, what's going on? Welcome on in. Yes, we are all here. How you doing, man? Cold War. How goes the guitar building? It goes. It's going and going. We're just putting an acoustic neck together, all the pieces for it. Once we get the blank all glued up, we can then cut out, shape it, and then get that fretboard on there, of course. I'll give you a rundown in a minute, guys, of what we are making, because I'm just about done for the day, but let me just put this piece on, and then we'll be able to take you through what we've done. So this guy goes in here like so. Let me get this back end done. This is the heel block that we're getting into line here as best as possible. It's not imperative to be superbly square. It is getting carved away, and we're going to get some nice transition lines as per the grain running on this baby. So what I want to do is I want to just line this up as best as I can. Clamps, Terry. We need clamps. Once it grabs, they tend to slide around, so I don't go too tight, so I can knock them back into shape. It's not too bad. That's pretty good, actually. Keep that like that, lined up. That's pretty good. We'll get one at the front here. They generally skew in an arc because the point of the fulcrum is there where the pressure is, so it tends to throw it that way or that way. So we'll go diagonally opposite and lock it in. That should help us keep it aligned to some degree. Like so. That's pulling it a little bit forward. There we go, it's skewing the other way now. Okay, we've got to tighten this guy up. Okay, that's not too bad. That's pretty good. Okay, that's skewing, that's skewing, that's skewing. Let's get that guy centered. Good, that's a bit better. It's holding a little bit. Okay, what we need to do now is get another one in here. Now we tighten them and we hammer them into place before we put the final ones in there. Where's my mallet? Let me wipe this excess off first. The glue coming out of our yin-yangs, pretty much. lined up a little bit. That's better. That looks pretty good. That's not bad. That's pretty good. That's reasonable. Okay, it's lined up pretty reasonably. Squeeze like you mean it. Squeeze like you mean it. Okay, one more. Wunderbar, as Lisa would say. Okay, we're not bad. We're good enough, as they say in the movie trade. We're good enough. Maybe one more for Terry's sake. In the middle. Get some gluage going down there. There we go. And we've done it. Thank you for the follow, Machine X Marcus. You are the man. I'm guessing anyway. There it is. So, tail block, headstock, everything's in place to cut it out, to get that shape going. I'm just going to wipe up some of this glue. It's a mess. And you know what I'm like with messes. Terry, do I make a lot of mess with the glue in the workshop? Is that a thing? Sometimes we do make a bit of a mess, don't we? Just going to wipe that up so it doesn't drip down and stick down on any surface somewhere. Just the excess is fine. They're all glued in place. Looks all right. Lovely. Squeeze outs there. Everything's lined up. We're good to go, guys and girls. So that's going to turn out real good once we cut that guy up. What I need to do now is say goodbye, because that's it for another day. This is the body I was talking about, guys. It goes with that neck. So this is Tasmanian blackwood. Okay, there's our figured body. You can see the colouring in there with a little bit of oil on there. There's the inside. Okay, so we're ready for the top. And we'll be back hopefully later this week. I've seen worse. Terry, you have seen worse. Ha! Hair curlers. Do we need hair curlers? Very nice. Van Whalen, it's going to be a ripper, mate. As they say here, a ripper, mate. So, absolutely. Now, I'm going to be back on Friday, my time. So, guys, look out for me. I will be back. We'll continue then. We should be able to cut the shape out of that neck and maybe even do a carve, which is one of Lisa's favourite things to do ever. Just ask her. She'll let you know. Thank you for being here, ladies and gents. So you build all the neck together and then you carve it out. Pretty much Cold War. We don't want to use big, massive blocks of wood. There's too much wastage. So we have smaller pieces that we glue together. The important thing is that the main neck part is one piece. We've got the fretboard on top of that. There's a truss right inside that. So we'll show you those steps next time we're back on the stream, Friday my time in Sydney. Keep an eye out on our Twitch channel for any calendar dates that have added in there. We love the neck carve. It's one of the favourite things. I like doing it too. It's a lot of work, but it's very, very satisfying, as they say. If there was ASMR for carving, it would be neck carves, and that would make 1 million followers and 10 gazillion subscribers. But of course, we don't just carve necks for the sake of it, so we don't do that. Thank you very much, guys and girls. I'll see you soon. Be good. Take care of one another, and peace to you all. Have a great week. I will see you at the end of the week. Bye for now. Actually, let's see if we can. I'll see who's on. I will do the right thing if I can. Damn it, my phone's not here and it's not charged, so I won't do it. I will raid someone next time. Have a good week, everybody, and see you next time. Bye for now. Right, here we go. There's the back. Bringing it up, that's not too bad. Okay, let's get that sound going so you can hear me. Alrighty, so what do we need to do? We need to grab this body, and we've got that body. We need to get in there and drill those holes. I've got the drill bit too. I've got black hardware. It's got Mr. Glynn's